Nancy Pelosi's going back to Washington, D.C. On March 26th, Nancy Pelosi is going to be 85 years old. She has been a member of Congress for 38 years. Pelosi earns a whopping $174,000 and yet somehow amassed $230 million fortune. That's 230, comma 000, comma 000. Now, what I'm going to show you will frighten you. Many of you might unsubscribe, but I got to tell you, folks, viewer discretion should have been advised. It's me, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy, what do you want to say to us, Nancy?
Hi, it's Nancy. I'm on my way to Washington to proudly represent the people of San Francisco in Congress. I'm honored to do so, to share our San Francisco values. Thank you for giving me that honor.
Term limits, please. Get money out of politics. Hold on. Right there says this is extremely creepy. There you go. So gross. And extra row of eyebrows. Jack Acid, has she had a facelift? They do say it takes evil longer to die. Absolutely, from Miss Richie Perfect. Barnes Homestead says term limits now. Yes, don't we all want term limits? But unfortunately, folks, there's a little bit more to the story because shout out to our friends at Unusual Whales. I always hope that they would report something different, but the answer is no. Breaking. I've just released a full report on politicians trading in not 2022, but in 2023. Like every year since 2020, U.S. politicians beat the market, and many in Congress have unusually timed trades, resulting in huge gains. My goodness, huge gains. It's always the same, always frightening, always depressing. Because this was from last year, and of course, or not 2 years before, but now, folks, Congress is doing more insider trading. They're making more money. They're making more on the side. They're earning all that cash. And just to remind you guys just how bad it is, I want to play this right here. No, I play this right here. Read this article to you. This was from December 18th, how Nancy Pelosi will be impacted by congressional stock trading ban. As always, we live in a time in which our elected officials are earning a mass fortune on the side while the rest of us are stuck with poverty. President Joe Biden has endorsed a ban on congressional stock trading, which is not going to follow through at all, and Trump's not going to stop it. A move that could affect Nancy Pelosi, one of the wealthiest Democrats in Congress. Now, this article was from last year. Biden discussed a ban during an interview with Faz Shakar, a political advisor for Senator Bernie Sanders, released on Tuesday night by the More Perfect Union channel on YouTube. I think we should be changing the law at the federal level so that nobody in Congress should be able to make money in the stock market while they're in Congress, Biden said. Biden, you were part of Congress since 1973. You were part of it. You're just upset that Nancy and the rest of your fantastic friends stabbed you in the back. I don't know how you look constituents in the eye and know because the job they gave you an inside track to make more money, he said. Now, Newsweek did reach out to the White House and Representative Nancy Pelosi via email for a comment. But see, here's how Nancy Pelosi looks in the eye. She does this.
Hi, it's Nancy. I'm on my way to Washington to proudly represent the people of San Francisco in Congress. I'm honored to do so, to share our San Francisco values. Thank you for giving me that honor.
Ugh, God in heaven. Now, Longmeadow, you wrote this. I invested in NVIDIA stock because I read Pelosi was buying that stock. Hey, if she can make money, then I might as well too. I don't like her, but I made some good coin. Well, Longmeadow, you know what? All the best to you. Just be safe, okay? Because I'm willing to bet, like, somewhere out there, Nancy Pelosi be like, Longmeadow is following me and taking my financial advice. You got to get this Longmeadow person. All right. And watch, you're going to get a knock at the door. And this face right here, Long Meadow, I'm going to remove. That's the face that's going to be knocking at your door. How will you respond? Continuing on, though. Continuing on, why it matters. Again, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, whose husband Paul Pelosi is a wealthy investor, is one of the most prominent lawmakers who has benefited from stock trades. She came under scrutiny in 2022 after her husband made a whopping $5.3 million off of Alphabet options before the House panel considered antitrust actions against Google, the parent company. Continuing on, Nancy Pelosi, who is thought to have played a critical role in behind-the-scenes effort to get Biden to end his reelection campaign this summer, denied at the time accusations that Paul Pelosi traded on information she gave him and pointed out that her husband's options were set to expire the same day he exercised them. Now, congressional stock trading is a controversial issue. I mean, that's going to trigger people like Dan Crenshaw, after all. Congressional stock trading is a congressional issue that has previously attracted the attention of lawmakers, but attempts to legislate against this practice have failed. The reason why it's failed is because all of Congress is in on it. All right. If you want to follow what your fantastic U.S. Senator or U.S. House Representative is doing on the side, check out Unusual Whales on X. They're all in on the game. Why do you think nothing's being done? There's only a handful, and they are a small minority of U.S. elected officials that are not involved in the game. The rest of them are Democrat and Republican. It's a bipartisan effort. Gee, they can work together in enriching themselves and screwing you, their constituents, over. Are you not surprised by this? The bipartisan proposal to ban trading by members of Congress and their families have dozens of sponsors, including us and Matt Gaetz. Now, again, this was before Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress. Do you think this bill's going to go through? No, it's not. I'm not even going to give you a Democratic option. Guess what, folks? It's not going to go through. It's not going to go through because the people in key positions of power in Congress are going to make sure that bill doesn't see the light of day. The bill named Bipartisan Restoring Faith in Government Act, stupid name for a bill that will never come to life, would prohibit members of Congress and their spouses and dependents from purchasing or selling certain investments, such as individual stocks. If the bill passed, Congress members and their families would have to sell any shares they own within 90 days of the act's effective date or place them in a blind trust. They would also have 90 days to release any shares they acquire in the future. Unusual Whales, a financial service platform that focuses on congressional trading, said in June that Nancy Pelosi, who is currently in hospital in Germany, after a recent hip replacement surgery following a fall during a congressional trip to Luxembourg, had nearly $4 million in gains from NVIDIA call options her husband purchased the previous November. She was up 210 plus percent in 197 days and still not sold her calls. Pelosi has made 20 times her salary, Unusual Whales wrote on X. Her portfolio is at all-time highs, up 93%. Nancy Pelosi, who has a net worth of $114.7 million, according to Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit Open Secrets, has previously declined to back a stock trading ban. Never forget what she said in 2021. We are a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that, she told reporters in December of 2021. But in February 2022, she appeared to backtrack on her position, telling reporters it's complicated and members will figure out, and then it will go forward with what the consensus is. While lawmakers are currently required to disclose stock transactions exceeding $1,000 on the Stock Act and are prohibited from making trades based on insider information, some are late in filing notices, and sometimes lawmakers may not follow them. There is currently no public records of who has violated the act or received a fine, according to Business Insider. It's because nobody's snitching on themselves, all right? They don't have anyone to say, yeah, they did it, because they're all in on it. In March 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic was approaching, Senators Richard Burr and Kelly Loeffler were accused of buying and selling millions of dollars worth of stock after being briefed on the virus. Both denied the accusations. Meanwhile, in 2022, at least 97 members of Congress traded stocks or other assets that intersected with their work or committees, according to the New York Times. So Pelosi keeps on making more money, and yet she gets reelected into office. This right here is the avatar of full-on corruption. When you see this face, just remember, she's not alone in it, but she has been one of the leading figures in the entire debacle that is known as congressional insider trading. Our lawmakers don't care about us. Our lawmakers are more than happy to throw us down the river. Our lawmakers don't respect us. This is why I say we got to get money out of politics. Nothing's going to change so long as people are still subservient into thinking that their electoral votes are going to somehow change the day. Re-electing people like Nancy, all what that did was give her the incentiveness to just continue on, to get further corrupt and wonder how much she could further push the limit. Because you have a lot of voters, Democrat and Republican, who think so long as they participate in voting for Team Red or Team Blue, oh, their party's going to look after them. When you see this face, Nancy Pelosi, just remember her number one goal is herself. Her number one objective, making that money. And the last thing she's going to care about is her constituents or any other average citizen. Wake up to reality. This is truth.